Let's get right to it. He's always been the best. He still is the best. He'll always be the best. BillO'Reilly.com. That's our destination. Bernie and I have the fortunate opportunity every now and then to head on over and do his show, whether he's writing columns like this one, Propaganda U, or doing videos or hosting his own TV show with Newsmax. Bill O'Reilly's the best.
BillO'Reilly.com.
Yeah, that's what I said, BillO'Reilly.com.
Yeah, right.
So he's here every Thursday at this time. And here he is. I got to tell you, I get text messages. What time is Bill on? What time is Bill on? So here you go, folks. The great Bill O'Reilly. Bill, how are you, pal?
I'm hanging tough. Here I am.
Well, it's good to have you. You know, listen, we talked an awful lot about your former place of employment this week. Our friend, the president of the Catholic League, Bill Donahue, was on with Neil Cavuto right after the fire started in Paris. And I got to tell you, I tweeted even before I saw Bill Donahue that I thought this thing was very fishy, this fire. I still do. Make a long story short, Donahue starts to prove why, in fact, his suspicions are pretty spot on, and your buddy, your colleague, Neil Cavuto, hangs up the phone on him. What the hell was that?
Well, I think that there is a business reason for all of these things going on at FNC. They've got hurt very badly with these far-left boycotts that are still in place. They've lost a lot of money. And the management wants a more moderate approach to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when you get speculation about a fire, the word goes out, we don't want that, don't allow that to happen. So I think, and I'm pretty sure that's what that was all about.
Bill O'Reilly on the Bernie and Sid show on WABC Radio. Bill, the big, long-awaited Mueller report is going to be released today. The Washington Post, of all people, say it's going to be lightly redacted and that Trump's actions can be interpreted innocently, according to the Washington Post. That's what Barr is going to say. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I think Barr is going to say that there's nothing here that warrants the federal government to continue this craziness. And when I say craziness, I want to know what happened. I think you guys do too, right?
Yes.
You know, you want to know if there were corruption in the election for president. Every American will say, yeah. But what it turns into is a weapon. So does anyone believe that you're going to get the fair assessment of the Mueller report from CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, and the New York Times? Anyone?
No,
I mean, I'll go down to St. Mark's Place, and they'll tell me, no, but Trump's the devil. We should get him. But no, we won't get a fair assessment. Even they will say they won't get a fair assessment. You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, I'm lining up my coverage on BillO'Reilly.com for the Mueller report, and we have to, because we're not going to get the physical report. It might be online sometime. But I said, all right, where do we go for an accurate portrayal of what's happening where? And no one that AP can't do it. Reuters, no. There's nowhere to go in America for people to get an honest appraisal anymore in the age of Trump.
That's true. I said that on Breitbart last week. Even Fox News is too much in his favor and his defense. Everybody else tries to malign the guy each and every day. There's nowhere to go. Nowhere.
And that really is dangerous.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you know, it is ideology, and there's no doubt. I mean, I know all of these people personally. I was in the cable industry for more than 20 years. But it's also money. It's also the big corporations wanting to make money off either loving or hating Trump.
That's true. You know, I got to tell you, when the Hillary stuff came, I watched Jim Comey that day with Bernie, Bill, that July afternoon, and he made this really spectacular case as to why she was guilty, the whole email scandal. Really. I mean, he made a great case why she was guilty, and then he said, but we're not going to charge her. And now we're hearing that Mueller is going to make a case that Trump did some bad stuff. But he just decided it wasn't bad enough. I'm starting to see some similarities to Hillary. Now Bernie says, wait a second, they didn't want Hillary. They want this guy. So if they had something, they would have gone after him. But it does sound eerily similar, no?
Bernard McGurk said that.
Very deep.
Astute.
Very deep. They can't divine intent.
And here's how weird this is. I'm writing, as we speak, the United States of Trump, and I'm writing exactly that.
Is that right?
Yeah, we're at the point where Comey is saying that we have to reopen the election, and then 9 days later, no, it's not. Never mind, Emily Latella. And what I've found out, because not only am I writing a book, I'm reporting the book, is that the White House under President Obama wanted to wrap this thing up, and they did not want any kind of indictment against Hillary Clinton. And there was pressure put on Comey to wrap this thing up. And the only reason he reopened it in the first place was because of Weiner. Because he knew that if he didn't tell everybody that Hillary's email showed up on Weiner's computer, Anthony Weiner's computer, and that came out after the election, that he would have been hung. Comey would have been hung.
Absolutely right.
Okay, that's the only reason he opened it. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Now, I don't know Mueller, and I'm not going to sit here and on the radio and say Mueller wanted Trump to be guilty. I'm not going to say that. I don't think that's fair. I'm going to look at this report in a very objective way, and I'm going to tell my audience on BillO'Reilly.com and on the radio and all the stuff that I do whether Mueller, in my opinion, did a fair job. Because I know a lot about this. And I'll tell you this, and for the WABC audience, Donald Trump is incapable of colluding with anyone. His concentration span is 30 seconds. He doesn't speak Russian. All right? He can't collude. That's not what he does, ever in his life. He didn't even collude with his mother when he was born.
Yeah.
He popped out, he said, "Fabulous, isn't this great? You're the greatest mother." And he combed his hair, got in a limo, and opened up a real estate agency. All right?
Yeah.
The man does not do that. He is not a planner, plotter. Now, Hillary Clinton, that's a different story. All right? But you got to know who you're dealing with. So from the jump, there's this complicated, secret, I'm going to collude, my people are going to collude. His people in the first 6 months of that campaign couldn't find the elevator. They were wandering around going, "Where's Donald?"
It's true.
All right? Go ahead.
So he's been cleared on that, but now it's the obstruction that they're...
this is insane.
I know, it is. It really is.
So insane. Trump is an emotional guy in the sense that he says whatever pops into his mind. All right? Did he like Comey? No. Did he want to fire Comey? Yes. All right, for a variety of reasons.
Plus, he was innocent.
Who was innocent?
Trump was innocent of any collusion charges, and he knew that the last 2.5 years.
He didn't do anything.
Right, exactly.
All right, he knew he didn't do anything. And then he said, "Well, if I didn't do anything, why are all my people getting indicted?" See, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to explain Donald Trump, even though I've known him for 30 years. But there are, people, and when somebody tells you something about a person you know pretty well, you know right away whether the person's capable of doing it or not. Correct?
Correct.
All right, and so all of this was driven by hatred. One of the most riveting parts of the Trump book is the reaction when he won. There were reporters actually pounding their desks in public, screaming and cursing.
Wow. When
Donald Trump... Reporters. All right, so the hatred started then. They latched on to this deal, this Russian collusion thing, and now it all comes to an end today, I hope. I do believe it will come to an end. I think the folks have had it.
Certainly hope so. Bill O'Reilly, look, we could talk to you all day, but we're out of time. BillO'Reilly.com. It's a great website, better than any cable news channel you'll ever watch. Also, the United States of Trump. You can pre-order it at BillO'Reilly.com. Thank you very much, Bill.
All right, happy Easter and Passover. You guys enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Bill.
Talk soon.
You too. Talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. The great Bill O'Reilly. Go read his latest column, Propaganda You. Still to come, John Batchelor. And Bernie wrote a couple jokes for my big stand-up night. Stick around. Lots to do. We'll be right back.